Hey Dad, happy Father's Day.
Jake's video to Dad. Take one.
Kevin Scott Carter. Is that right?
Kevin. 46.
Oh.
Ooh, 65. I don't know, maybe like 64?
I think he's 64.
Candy? Dad always like has a button-up shirt. Always a button-up shirt. And his explorer hat. And shorts.
Old man clothes.
His nature suit, kind of.
What is that?
It's like the brown clothes he wears usually. Like almost everything that he's wearing is brown. Oh yeah, Waco plane. Hey, guess what?
What?
One time when me and Finny were on the Waco plane, we went instead of upside down, down than upside down. But Grandpa was behind me on Waco, was behind me and Finny's Waco plane. He can get them to go upside down, but not the way Freddy can do, because he can do more than upside down. I sometimes like to play games with him, and like I also like when he takes me to the candy shop, and he just walks around and there with me. And he's the only person that will go in there mostly with me, so.
I like to sleep over at his house and like 4th of July, pick cherries, stuff like that. Summer. He had us over this one time and we were in the backyard. We got to sleep over that night. But he found that show for us and it's really good. So that's fun to do.
I could not choose just one memory because there's so many memories I have of Kev Ball that just speak to what a compassionate, kind, and safe person that he is.
And say, oh, one more time. Oh my God, say hi, Grandpa.
Hi, Papa.
Anyway, the very, very first time I met him, Kevin, I think it was the very first time I ever went over to your guys' house. Most people know this about me, but just in case you don't, I have a really hard time understanding sarcasm. I can't really pick up on like those cues that it's a joke. So I just like think everything's serious all the time. I know, how did I marry Jake? Because he's an extremely sarcastic person. But he has learned to know me well and knows when he can be sarcastic and when he can't and things like that. But anyway, so the very first time I met Kevin, I went over to your guys' house and you said, I think we were just kind of like making small talk, or I don't remember the setting, but you said, hey Jamie, do you want to know how you can tell if Jake's lying? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he's talking. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't get it. And he was like, if Jake's talking, he's lying. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, it was the very first time I met him. And so I was just so awkward.
Well, kind of always. Grandpa always has a good joke. So, yeah. He plays with us.
What's his favorite thing to do?
He likes to bring us to like a store. I forgot what it's called.
Is it Bowman's?
No. It's the place with like all those slushies. And at the end.
Paces?
Yeah, Paces. He usually brings us there for fun.
Paces. Goon. I'm guessing. I don't know actually for either. And Disneyland.
Disneyland?
Grandpa's really nice, and he's always comforting to people, and he's a good snuggler, and yeah.
And then the nice things is he's always, he's always, like I said, I kind of said this, I think, when we were at Hill's house, but he's just always there for us, for all of us when we need him. He always will help out when he's asked to, and willing to go out of his way to help us get things done that we need, so.
Well, that's Zoe.
My favorite memory of Dad as an adult is probably when we got to go, when Mom and Dad and Sid and I went to Europe together and went to Paris, Disney. I mean, Disney's on my mind lately because of the virus and reopening, but it was a lot of fun. Really, all the trips. He's always been fun to travel and has ideas for fun trips, and even the little road trips like we just did for Memorial Day. It's just fun to go and spend time and listen to stories, and I have inherited his love of travel, and it's one of my favorite things, and James loves it too. We're passing it on.
I like that he's really funny.
I know. Say hi, Grandpa.
Hi, Grandma.
Say, I want to see your clock. Can I see your clock? Say, tick tock, tick tock.
He likes to tease me. Well, I think he teases me. I think he teases me about eating my things, though not. I like how funny Grandpa is. He's like always nice, and he's never really mad or grumpy. So.
One of my favorite memories of Dad was taking the train down from Boston to DC and spending time in DC. Dad always took time to make sure we all had a family vacation, and some of my favorite memories are those family vacations we had. That's something I want to keep doing with my kids.
Watch TV? Well, usually when he's doing like missionary work or when he's with his family.
Hi, Grandpa. Give me this. Oh, I know. Say hi, Grandpa. Say hi, Grandpa. Tell him. Say hi. Say hi, Grandpa.
But if I had to choose just one, I love, and my favorite memory of Kevball is the fact that he lets me call him Kevball. No, I'm just kidding. That's not it. But I love that he heard we were in a car accident when I was pregnant with Riley. And I don't even know if he had shoes on. I can't remember. But I think he didn't have a car. And so he just ran all the way from his house to where we were, which was over by Kaysville Junior High. And it just kind of speaks volumes to the kind of person that he is. He hears there's trouble and he comes to protect you, so.
I'd probably give him like the candy that he likes. He likes this thing called Roots. Or maybe like a trip or something. Grandpa likes to go like on trips and stuff.
Anyway, as I've grown to know you, you are a very funny guy and you are very sarcastic, but you're so caring and kind to everybody and always willing to help, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything you've done for me and Jake. And I mean, you and Marcy are the epitome of service, and anytime we need something, you're there, no matter what. And I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so grateful for the example that you've given Jake as a husband and a dad. And I'm so grateful to be in your family and that I got a second chance to be in your family.
But if I had to choose, it'd probably be when we were in Missouri and we went down the log flume and Grandpa sat in the back because he thought it would get him the least wet, but he got the most wet.
I think one of my other favorite things that I've learned from you is a love of travel. You've instilled in me a great love of wanting to see the world and appreciating both where we live here in Utah as well as our country and the world. And so I love that you took us on trips and took me on my first plane ride to DC when I was 17, which is crazy that I didn't fly in a plane until I was 17 years old, but I loved going to DC with you and Allison and everywhere else that we've been in the world.
Well, go to that stuff.
He's always nice, and he just...
Probably my favorite memory with Dad would be when we came home, or when I came home from my mission. We went out to the East Coast, and we just did like a few stops and a train ride. That was really fun. And for some reason, I still really remember that train ride. It's very vivid, and the cheeseburger I got on there, which was not bad. But then we went to the Air and Space Museum. We went to the chili place, which I don't remember if that's Red Hot and Blue or if that was also a different place we went to, but super good food places. It was just a fun trip. I think it's like one of the only trips I've taken alone with Dad before that, and the one before that would have been us and like Dave when I ate the pound of mashed potatoes back, who knows how old I was then. And then I felt so sick that I just had to ride in the back of the truck while they went out to meet in the middle of the desert for some reason. Some guy that lived in a little hut out in the middle of the desert. That's what it seemed like to me anyways at the time. But both of those, yeah, really fun. Just I think a couple of the times that I went solo with Dad.
TV. Ghost Rider.
I really like watching Ghost Rider with him. It's really fun.
Some of the things I love the most about Dad are he is really, Dad, you are, I suppose, talk to you, really patient. I only remember one time you ever losing your temper with me when we were kids. And it was like one of my favorite memories because it was just so out of character for you. It took me by surprise. I didn't even feel scared that you were upset with me. I felt more rattled to see you flustered yourself. I think was more funny for me to see, but also I've always been really grateful for your you always use the phrase lead by example, and I think that you do a really good job of doing that yourself. You're a really hard worker, and I've always loved your ability to recall pertinent facts of whatever. I can always trust. It's one of mine and Nate's long-standing jokes in our marriage that if only Kevin were here, he'd know the answer to that.
That he's always like happy and wants to do stuff with me.
Well, I always like when we go to Disneyland, and it's just always fun. Even though Grandpa's not the biggest fan of all the big roller coasters.
When like we do what he says.
My favorite memory, I think, is when we were little. I remember we just finished The Basement, and I loved when you would come down and read The Hobbit to us. I remember the illustrated version that we had of The Hobbit, and just laying in our bed and loving the stories that you would read to us. So I loved that. That was one of my favorite memories.
Probably one of my favorite memories with Grandpa is going to, or when he takes us on trips, like going to Cedar City and like also Moab, and he'll also sometimes let us have sleepovers. So, yeah.
My favorite memory of Dad from when I was a kid was when we'd get to go, when he'd take us on trips, like up when he was working in Salt Lake, and I'd get to go stay with him up in the Royal Blue Executive Inn. It's as fancy as it sounds. And the people at his work, like, we'd get to go in and color the Smokey the Bear pictures, in the office supply room, get the colored pencils, and his secretary would sneak us M&Ms, and it was always really fun when I was a kid.
I have lots of fun memories of you putting your feet on my face while we lay on your bed and watch Seinfeld or Coach. Was that terrible show from the 80s? I don't remember. Frasier, another good one.
What's your favorite thing to do with Grandpa?
No. Play.
You like to play with Grandpa?
Yeah.
Do you like it when Grandpa chases you around the yard?
Yeah.
Do you like it when you get to give Grandpa big hugs?
Yeah.
That he's very nonchalant and like very calm and cool and doesn't get mad.
You're a really lovely grandfather. My kids just really adore you and love coming to your house. So one of my favorite memories is from my childhood is going to visit Grandpa Carter, and I feel like my kids have a similar love of going to visit you a lot because you have a lot of the same characteristics as Grandpa Carter. Where I felt really loved and cherished. I felt like he liked my company, and my kids feel that way about you. And Grandpa Carter was really funny and lighthearted, and you share those same qualities and characteristics.
Like, sometimes when, like, I'm in his legs, he'll trap me with them. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
50.
50 who?
50 pants fell on your head.
I'm also grateful for all of the time and effort and money that you and Mom sacrificed so that we could go on road trips and different trips together as a family. Those are definitely some of the highlight memories from my childhood, are getting to go to Illinois with you and Mom and our brothers and sisters, and to Hawaii, our lots of road trips to southern Utah and to Moab. I feel like we have good relationships and love each other a lot because we develop these relationships on these road trips. And I'm grateful you let our friends come along because they have a lot of sweet memories of you and Mom too, and of being in cars with us for long amounts of time.
When Finn gets caught in the leg trap, I guess.
I'd say he knows the most about nature, maybe. Grandpa. Hi, Paula.
Wait, say I love you.
Mm.
Say I love you. Say I love you, Grandpa. Blow me a kiss. Blow Grandpa kisses. Aw, thanks.
I remember you reading The Hobbit to us, and I don't even remember what The Hobbit was, but I loved getting that time with you. You're a really sweet dad, and I love you. Happy Father's Day.
Love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day.
Love you, Grandpa Carter.
Thanks for playing with me all the time.
Thank you, Carter. Grandpa.
You're such a good grandpa, huh?
I'm not Grandpa. I love you, Grandpa. Happy Father's Day. I love you, Grandpa.
I love you, and I hope you have an amazing Father's Day, and I hope you know how much we all love you. Bye.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Happy Father's Day, Grandpa.
Love you, Dad.
Happy Father's Day. I love you, Grandpa. Bye.
I love you, Dad.
Happy Father's Day. Love you, Grandpa.
I love you, Kev Ball. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Grandpa.
Happy Father's Day.